Well, hello. Welcome back to Grandma's World. I'm Debbie. This is going to be another video that is going to ramble around quite a bit, I think. Not specifically for Flosstube, although there's Flosstube stuff in it. And it's not specifically Disney, but there is Disney stuff in it. And it's not specifically progress moving forward in 2020 stuff, although there is some of that too. But I just decided that I wanted to put this together because the last few days have been kind of enlightening for me. I've believed for a long time that we get what we're thinking about, whether we want it or not. And with that in mind, for the last few years, my life has been me using my kind of natural optimism and supplementing it with making sure that I'm pivoting my thoughts. If I find myself getting too down in the dumps, I will try to do things to turn that around. And so certainly there's plenty to be worried about right now and fretting about that we don't want more of. And I'm certainly part of that group. I'm 68, so I'm part of the group that's supposed to be sheltering at home, but I'm also one of 3 siblings, pretty much all in our 60s, who are taking care of our 88-year-old mother. And so 3 times a week, I am loading up my car and driving the 25 miles to the next town, excuse me, to stay with her and make sure that she's getting what she needs. And then on the way out, excuse me, if I need to, I will be running errands in that town to supply her. And then we're trying to support some restaurants that we're very fond of, some people that we're very fond of, by taking takeout as our meals. So most of my grocery shopping has been takeout from a variety of restaurants. And so that involves not so much usually me going out to get it, but me stopping to get it on my way out of town. And then there are groceries. There are some things you have to go to the store for. And I didn't luck out today. I did go to Trader Joe's hoping to score some toilet paper for my mom, and they were out of it. But they had plenty of good things in the store. Once you get in, boy, have they nailed that whole process. They had a blue tape on the sidewalk at 6-foot intervals. When you got to the front of the line, and they were ready to let you in, because they only let, I think it's 30 people at a time into a Trader Joe's. There was an employee in his Hawaiian shirt, in rubber gloves, dispensing hand sanitizer as you walked in the door, and then letting you know that your shopping cart was already in the store and had been sanitized. And he had a whole collection of different kinds of concoctions in spray bottles, and he would take a few carts at a time and spray them down and wipe them down and then put them in the store. So they really are trying. And in the cash register area, there was blue tape on the floor at the store keeping you back 6 feet from the cash register. So really the only time you were within that 6 feet, unless you were being not as observant, and I was guilty of this a couple of times, just walking by somebody in the store, because everybody seemed to be in the same places at the same time. And I would try to hold back, but if someone was going to walk between me and the next person, or if I got, just walking by and happened to get too close, we weren't keeping our 6-foot distance. But at least, and then once you got to the cash register, you weren't 6 feet away, but we weren't touching each other, and they were being careful. Obviously, they're being very careful. And there was, as I said, there was a lot of fun stuff at Trader Joe's, starting off with some pretty flowers. And I bought one of these for myself and one for my mother. I'll take it to her tomorrow to try to cheer her up a little bit. She truly is in she truly is in sheltered home mode at 88, and she's very happy to be there. It is an ordeal for her to go anywhere, and she's kind of relaxed about the idea that, I don't have to do anything, I don't have to go anywhere. So that, that works for her and works fine for us. Another thing at Trader Joe's, the chocolate mousse eggs are out. These are little chocolate mousse cakes. And we kind of all agreed at the cash register that these little cakes, and they come in different decor. As I recall, in the fall, I think they were pumpkin shaped. And then these are the Easter egg shapes. I don't remember what they were at the Christmas holidays days. I know they have them, I just don't remember what the shape was. These are the Easter eggs, and then after these, if they follow suit, will come cute little flowers. And they're just irresistible, and they're not expensive. So I, who am trying to get through this without going into a diabetic coma, and I'm not diabetic, because the amount of sugar I want to eat, I'm now well supplied after this trip to Trader Joe's. I also stopped at my local Mexican restaurant for my weekly tacos. I do this every week. I go to my chiropractor first and then stop there on the way. And usually I sit there and eat my tacos, but you can't do that now. And so I got to stand there and talk to the owner and her daughter. She said the only people working her restaurant right now are family, and they're not getting paid. They're only getting tips. So take care of your restaurants. I would really like these guys to still be there once I can get out and sit down and visit with my server friends. And so tip them out. Tip them out. Really, these takeout people are often the table servers now. And so if you can tip them out, that would help them a lot. So what I'm doing to do this, to get through this, and it'll make sense when I splice all this stuff together, I hope, is what I call points of joy. And it's kind of based on the blue flowers. I think that's which one it was. They did the hashtag, I'm gonna lose my mind here now. It is the Be Well and Stitch hashtag. And theirs said, let joy be unconfined. And I love that. Joy is kind of a theme in my life. And so I said, well, here's mine. And I started to do it, and it'll be showing up here pretty soon. And because it became the trigger for me to do a little activity for YouTube, but mostly for myself, of just stopping and grabbing the camera anytime something popped up in my sheltered home life that made me smile. And I call it finding points of joy. And so it has been a really good activity for me, because it has helped me get out of the dumps and really focus on some of the lovely things that are there to cheer us up on a, not just day to day, but on a minute to minute. Now, I am not unaware that some of you are suffering, and your families are suffering, and your friends are suffering as the stories are coming out of the about people fighting this virus. It is very clear, and I said this from the beginning, they are not giving us all the information. The reaction, the things we're being asked to do and told to do are not, or were not, at the same level of the information we were getting. It was way too much of an overreaction for what they were saying was coming. And clearly now that people are getting the virus and fighting the virus and telling their stories, it's very clear that they were hiding the seriousness of this from us. And so if you are in that group, if you have family that's fighting COVID-19, there's nothing to say. There's nothing to say with you, say for you, say to you, other than I absolutely wish you the best and hang in there. And people do recover from it. It's a long process. And, if there was something that I could do other than just wish you well, I would do it. But for now, I'm just going to have to send you my best wishes. So, trying to keep the positive flowing so that we don't attract more negative to the situation. as I said, I've been just recording, just documenting these little bits of joy that I see. Finding that the cakes are available at Trader Joe's, finding the flowers at Trader Joe's, that my restaurant was still open and selling takeout for tacos. Those are all little things, and then I have a whole bunch more that I found today as I was working in my yard and working in my house, and I will string them together and document them. And if anybody comes and looks at that, I hope that you enjoyed that as much as I did, and that it maybe helped a little bit to refocus. Some of the things that have happened, I was watching as a cross-stitcher. I have been binge watching Seaside Stitchers, Sunshine Stitchers, EJ, Gary, and Sheila. And Gary was talking about and showing a piece of linen that he had purchased from a company called The Primitive Hair, that was selling through Etsy. And I thought that that piece of linen would be perfect for a Christmas piece that I want to stitch. I went to her site on Etsy, and it turned out that she only does these specialty prints on linen, and I don't do linen anymore, and that is another story in a different post. But I was disappointed that I wasn't going to be able to get that. It was a snowflake design that I thought would be perfect for something that I want to work on starting in Mania. But the other stuff that was in her Etsy shop, oh my gosh, excuse me. This is a soul sister on another continent for me. Isabel is in Italy, also on lockdown right now, so that some of the stuff I wanted to order isn't going to get here for a while because it can't be shipped out yet. But I was able to get 3 charts on download, and I'm super excited about these. As I've mentioned here before, I'm redecorating a former office in my house as a guest room, and it's going to be mermaid and ocean themed. And I also, actually I'm wearing my Cape Cod sweatshirt today. Last fall went to Massachusetts and spent some time in Ogunquit, Maine, and also at Cape Cod in Massachusetts. And I love the East Coast almost as much as I do the West Coast. So Isabel has some designs that are kind of in a theme of places I've been, and I was super excited to find them, and they were downloaded right away. So I get to enjoy drooling over them. This is one of them. It's called The Mermaid of Salem Bay. And I've been to Salem Bay. So this is meaningful to me. Salem's a fascinating town, and not just for the whole witches thing, although Isabel has done a lot of things about the witches of Salem, but their role in the American Revolution is profound, and it's also a center. Apparently Salem is where the rich people from Boston went to kind of hang out and get away from the city for a while. And so their homes were kind of built in the expensive style of the day. So they were large federal style homes. And there are still a lot of them there to look at. Not to tour so much, but we took the trolley, my friend and I took the trolley tour and got to visit just see all these federal style homes, and I was very impressed with Salem. Unfortunately, I keep going back at Halloween time, and you don't want to be in Salem during Halloween, the Halloween season, but it was really interesting to go before. And then I also got this one. This one is called Sea Ornaments, and it's 3 small ornaments, again with that Salem seafaring theme. A whale, a mermaid, and a ship. I assume the ship was called the India. And then the one that is most exciting to me, I cannot wait to do it, is this one. The ancient mother of the ocean is a whale. It appears to be a humpback with the Neptune constellation behind it. And this one I only printed it off in black and white, so can't really see the way she's used color. But I am very thrilled to be putting these in my Mania stash to get going on some of these for that new room. Something that did come through yesterday, another point of joy for me, once a month, is my Tokyo Kawaii Club packet from Michael Donahoe. And I've opened these before on camera. And Michael is a personal shopper in Japan. He does a subscription service once a month. You have some preferences going in there. So he knows that I like Mickey Mouse, I like Chip and Dale, and I like Dumbo. I know because I've been to Tokyo Disney. I've been to Tokyo 4 times now because my family lives there. So I know that Chip and Dale are very popular there. Donald Duck is more popular than Mickey Mouse. Duffy the Bear is more popular than Mickey Mouse. Mickey is popular. He certainly appears everywhere, but in terms of actual popularity of characters, he's not the most popular character, but he's my favorite character, and Michael has been able to find me Mickey Mouse themed things. The issue is with Mickey in Tokyo is that he's usually paired with Minnie, and I'm not a big Minnie Mouse fan. So I just have to, I just have to remind Michael from time to time that I don't like Minnie Mouse, but he says they always kind of come together. So here's the way stuff comes from the Tokyo Kawaii Club. There is a bag. And this is the Disney Store bag with Minnie Mouse on it, of course, on one side, and the Minnie Mouse University version on the other. I can feel something in here that's going to be interesting. And then, oh good, the surprises are already starting. So I love, oh my gosh, Michael, wow. I love these clear files from the Tokyo Disney store, usually. Although they do have them at Tokyo Disney Sea and Tokyo Disneyland. Now this one is, take it out of here, it is a Tokyo Disney Sea clear file, and it is commemorating the final performance of Fantasmic, which is being held this month in March of 2020. So that's timely. And it's not actually a clear file this time, it's just a plastic file. It has a metallic lining. They are legal size files, which makes them doubly useful, of course. And just beautifully, always, stuff from the Disney parks are always beautifully decorated. They have so much detail, where the California Disney parks tend to oversimplify, in my opinion. The Tokyo Disney parks make up for it by going overboard. So yeah, so there's Ursula and Ariel, there's the Maleficent Dragon, the Sorcerer Mickey with the buckets, the mop buckets, there's Simba. Fabulous folder. I'm thrilled to get this. Absolutely delighted to get that. And then within the bag are 2 bags. And this is very common for what he does. In this case, I have 2 Tokyo Disney Resort bags. So I don't know if that means he didn't shop at the Disney store, or if I just got lucky. Oh my gosh! He found me a Dumbo! Yay! Oh, look at this. I had not seen this. Oh my gosh, Michael. This is fantastic. It's a little cupcake, a little container with Dumbo. And the way these things work, it's a keychain, and we know it's a keychain and not a badge because it doesn't have a safety pin on the back. Oh, this is the cutest. Look how adorable this is. I am so thrilled with this. What an expression. And it's really common of Tokyo Disney merchandise that it's extremely well made, and they'll have a lot of detail on it. So in this case, I just love the expression on his face, and he has this little hat, and he also has the ruffle around his neck. Look at this little tail in the back. Oh, that's too cute. Thank you for finding that for me, Michael Donahoe. That's awesome. And then in here, oh, this is all the character. These are, oh, this is from the mouse collection, isn't it? So it's all the Disney mice. There's the two mice from Cinderella, Susie and Perla, are here, and then Jacques and Gus are here, and then there is Timothy Mouse, he's Dumbo's mentor, Bernard and I can't remember her name, from the Rescuers, and then this, oh, this is the Great Mouse Detective, or from the Great Mouse Detective. And this little gal, I think she's from a cartoon show, and I don't know who she is. But we're going to see what's in here. I have a feeling. What's in here? Oh, it's a notepad. It's a coupon. Oh, no. You know, okay. So this is so cool. So here is, now I'm a typical Westerner, right? The first thing I do is open it up and say, well, here are the lines, but why are they all on their sides? It's a Japanese, right? And the Japanese write this way. So you want your guidance lines, if you're a kid, you want your guidance lines to be vertical. Oh, I'm thrilled with this. This is very cool. Thank you so much. I mean, we could technically stop now. I am absolutely thrilled with this shipment, Michael. But there's another bag to play with. Let's see what's in here. A pinpoint face mask. And I would have to get my daughter-in-law to show me how to use this, except that I'm probably not going to use it. I'm just going to keep it as part of my Chip and Dale collection. But apparently you don't cover your whole face. These face masks are really popular in Japan. And they come in all different kinds of themes and in all kinds of, I'm going to say flavors, but they're just all different kinds of concoctions. So with this one, what they're saying is you just put where you want the help, you put the little sticker part of this face mask on it. So that's fun. That is really fun. Like I said, I think it's just going to go in my Chip and Dale collection, though. I don't think I'm going to actually use it. Oh, and here, this is nice. Okay, so this is also part, you know, I cannot tell you how much I wanted to order a bunch of that stuff from the mouse celebration they did, and I'm grateful. Thank you, Michael, that you were able to get me this. This is a little note pouch, and it has Chip and Dale on the actual pouch part, which snaps together. And then within the pouch part is the notepad, and it has Chip and Dale. When I first looked at it, I thought it was the mice again, but it's not. It's Chip and Dale. And then, so they go in there like that. And then within there is a pen. And it has Chip and Dale cheerleaders on it. I don't know if you can see, if I can do this so that they would actually come into focus. Yeah, there. Oh, super cute. This one's going to be hard. This one's going to be hard. Does it go in the collection, or do I start carrying it in my purse? I don't know. It's part of the sports theme that they've been doing with Chip and Dale, so they're in their, I don't know if we can do this, they're in their tennis gear here. They are playing baseball up here. There are cheerleaders, Chip and Dale are cheerleaders here. And what's this? I want to say that's a basketball here. Super cute. Oh my gosh. There's still something in there. What's this? Oh, this is what I felt. So I think this is my third clip like this. All different characters. There was a Pluto and then a Chip and Dale. It wasn't quite this design. And where are these from? Disney Store. This is from the Disney Store. And it's Mickey Mouse. It's my buddy Mickey Mouse. Has a magnet, and then you can clip things with him. And I think my Pluto is still over there. I have a whiteboard that I put messages on, so that's perfect. Wow. Wow, what a haul. Mr. Donahoe, thank you so much, because I know this must have taken a lot of time to pull this together, and I really do appreciate that. You nailed every single one of these things. It is making me smile at a time. With, you know, my little points of joy. We're all locked in here and worried about people we love. I get to worry not only about the people I love here in the United States, but my son and my daughter-in-law and 2 of my grandchildren live in Tokyo. So I get to worry about them there as well. I will say it appears to them and to me over on this side of the ocean that Japan is doing a better job of keeping the coronavirus under control, which makes me feel relieved for their safety. But we had tickets to bring them here for a visit this summer, and they're not going to be able to come. We are not in the United States going to be ready to welcome visitors in by then. My son tells me he bought a ticket that the dates could be changed, so there is still hope that we'll get to see them this year, maybe, or maybe early next year. I don't know. None of us know anything. None of us can make plans. I'm just grateful that they're safe, that they are healthy, that they are, as far as I know, they're in shelter inside, but there is a park across the street from them where I think they're getting a cherry blossom display, or they will, because the whole park had a little ring of cherry trees around it. And I don't know when that shut off. So just to repeat, my son and my daughter-in-law and 2 grandchildren live in Japan. They're in Tokyo. I think they're in lockdown, but I'm not sure. If they are, they at least have a little park across the street from where they live. They're up on the 4th floor, so that when the cherry trees that ring that little park go into bloom this year, if they haven't already, they will get to enjoy that view from their apartment. And I know my son, I know my daughter-in-law, and I know those 2 grandchildren, and I know that they will take it very well. And I'm grateful that they're there. I don't. We had tickets for them to come for a visit in the summer, and they're not going to come because they're probably, we are all agreed they're probably safer there right now. Japan did a better job of getting a lid on all of this than the United States did, and so I don't think we're going to be ready to safely welcome anybody from any other country this as early as this summer. So they have changeable tickets. They can change the dates, and I'm still hopeful that we'll get to see them at some time in the future. But if not, that's just the way it is. Their lives are way more valuable than visits. So, Michael, you totally cheered me up. All these little points of joy. I think if I had to pick a favorite, it would be this guy. I know the movie's gone past, and so it's probably getting harder to find, but I am absolutely thrilled with this. This is adorable, and I'm delighted. And then the Chip and Dale notepad, that's going to be a really hard one just to put in my bag, my Chip and Dale bag. But it's probably where it's going to live for a little while anyway. And then I have the Japanese style notepad with the mouse celebration on it, and the clear file commemorating the final performance of Fantasmic in Tokyo. I did get to see this. When we were there last summer, we were having dinner at the Oceano buffet, and they stopped the meal and have everybody go out on their terrace. They have a terrace place to stand where you can actually see Fantasmic. So they have you go out right before it starts, and you stand there and you watch the show, and then you go back in and finish your meal. So that was, this is a nice memory for me. We really did enjoy that. Gosh, so much in this one. The little Mickey Mouse clip is adorable, and the face mask makes me giggle because I just, like I said, I would rather keep it as a Chip and Dale souvenir than actually use it. But that's really fun to have. Look at Dale. He's got that little don't touch your face. Wash your hands, but don't touch your face. Anyway, that's it. As introduction, yes, I'm doing this Points of Joy thing for myself, and I'll share it out. And then, like I said, there's a little bit of, we've done a little bit of Flosstube, a little bit of Disney. You'll see that there are some reports on my garden and on my progress, and we're all just hanging in there, aren't we? Doing the best we can in a difficult situation. So Dumbo and I are gonna say bye. We'll see you next time. I need to find stitch charts, don't I? Cross stitch charts, a Dumbo and a Chip and Dale. That would be fun. Bye. See you next time.
Well, I'm going to do a little recording today. I'm not sure how it's going to go, but some things are happening, and I want to make sure they get documented. I spent yesterday at my mother's house. It was her 88th birthday. My brother and sister and I are splitting her home care, and so we're all around her all the time anyway, and we thought it would be okay to go and spend a few hours with her, bring in some takeout. They worked a puzzle with her while I was out getting the takeout food, so she enjoyed that. And in the course of that evening, found out that my sister is still working. In her job, she is she's not in a lot of contact with other people, just enough to have her worried about herself. She does have asthma, and so she is, you know, going to be one of the people at risk and have to be more careful about what she does. And I found out she has no protective anything out their house. They don't have masks. They don't have gloves. I happen to have some nitrile gloves that I bought when I learned to do chalk painting. I bought a whole box at Harbor Freight one day just to protect my hands while I was chalk painting. And then I also had some face masks that really don't help protect you. If you're wearing them, they're not going to keep the virus away from you. They're really more valuable. This kind are really more valuable if you are ill and coughing. It will collect the fluids when you cough and keep you from spreading whatever's making you cough to anybody else. It makes people feel better emotionally to protect themselves with some of these things. And right now we're all in need of a little emotional protection. So I'm splitting some of the supplies that I've had here for a while, even before the virus broke out, with her, and decided to give her her birthday present early. This is a Garon toten bag, small bag, and I'm just going to leave it for her with the supplies in it. Her birthday's not till May, and I bought it for her birthday, but I think she needs it now more, and I need to give it to her more right now. And then the reason I went for the camera is that spring is here, virus or no virus, and I will take my little spring blessings as they were when I get them. I brought in the first of my monarch eggs last week, and one of them has gone into the famous J. There should be a, when I get home, it's interesting, when I get home from my mom's today, there should be a chrysalis there. And then there's another baby caterpillar living in here, I hope. I may have lost one there. I'll have to check it and see. At any rate, I'm getting ready to go to my mom's, and I'll check back later. So we take our chair where we can find it, don't we? This is my view leaving my neighborhood today. I have a thing for clouds anyway, but on a morning like this, rained a couple of days, still kind of hanging out. They are absolutely gorgeous. And I really can't help. I feel grateful that I get to enjoy these. Onward. I'm about to lose my light, and before I do, I want to document something that happened today, along with other things that happened today. And the backstory to this is that in 2011, I went through a personal transformation that ended up with, among other things, a commitment to always try to find the joy and celebrate the joy in my life. And during that summer, I was at a local quilt shop, found these flags. You could buy them one letter at a time, and I bought J-O-Y and a couple for the ends. One of them says, live well, laugh often, love much, and the other one says, kindness matters. And I strung them, and they hang over the window that's next to my bed in my bedroom. And last year, part of what had happened between 2010 and last year was that I had become acquainted online. I can't get this centered right in my camera, I'm sorry. I'd become acquainted with an artist named Eliza DeVries, who is a magical person in her own right and does these amazing photographs, which she then artistically retouches
with digital art. And all the years that I've known her, I have coveted one of her pieces, but I never found the right one. And then last year, this one came through. And I said, that's it. This one is mine. So I went through the process of buying the picture. And when we were all done and the money had exchanged hands over online, and we had arranged when I was going to come and pick up the piece, she said, oh, and by the way, the name of this piece is Joy. And that, of course, didn't surprise me at all because joy is a theme in my life, but I was very amused by it. So today I was at my mom's and we were just visiting for the time. I'm here for a few hours on Mondays. And I was flipping through all of the pieces that stitchers have put onto online to I can't really say celebrate, but to commemorate the coronavirus lockdowns that are going on and the fact that we are to stay in our houses while this works while we work through this. And a lot of cross-stitchers, and I'm a cross-stitcher, a lot of cross-stitchers had been posting free charts under the hashtag Be Well and Stitch. And while I was at my mom's, I was going through some of those offerings, and I loved the idea of it, but I wasn't really finding the right piece to adopt as a stitching project of my own. When I got home, I decided to look again online at the hashtag Be Well and Stitch, and this was the very first piece that popped up as I was looking. Let joy be unconfined. And I said, well, there it is. There's my piece. And I went through a lot of the rest of them, and nothing else attracted my interest like this one did. I remembered that I had ordered this piece of fabric, which was not going to work for the project I ordered it for, but I knew that it would go in my sewing room beautifully with something on it. And so my first thought was, well, why don't I get that piece of, I think it's called, what is it called? Flash. Get that piece of flash out that I ordered and put this onto that. So I'm going to get started on this right now. I'm all in my warmies. I'm going to go tuck myself into my happy room, and I'm going to use my most beautiful flosses that I've never had any other use for. Those flosses that you buy just because they're gorgeous and not because you have any immediate use for them. Well, I have lots of overdyes in that category. Look at these. They're just beautiful. And I'm just going to start pulling them out and decide how I want to do this piece. Right after I go back to that artist's website and thank her for doing this for us by purchasing a couple of her charts as digital downloads. So joy will reign this weekend. It's time to turn this thing around and get some really positive energy going. We're all going to be okay, and these will be my first steps toward that. So here's another gift for me for today to raise my spirits. I'm such a fan of Carrie Newcomer, and here she is. She's going to do us a song every day with a possible concert, it sounds like, on Friday. So, you know, it's so grateful to her to take the time to do this. I have actually been listening to her in the car for a week now, so it was just a lovely surprise to find her here tonight. Well, it's not a surprise that I should run into an issue with this, because that is just where we all live right now, is that we're attracting things not going quite as planned. I fell in love with this as part of the Be Well and Stitch hashtag on the internet over the last couple of days. This is the one I really want to do. I already had this piece of fabric that I ordered for another project, and it wasn't going to work out for it, but it is beautiful, and I said, oh, I'll just use this for this project. And I very carefully measured out my border, my finishing border. You have to make sure you've left enough space around the edges of one of these canvases, one of these pieces of fabric for framing. And so I very carefully measured out 3 inches and got started. I wanted to get the let done this afternoon and evening. I worked on it for probably 3 hours. I'm using a variegated thread for the letters on this, and so they are done 1 stitch at a time. And I finished it at 9:30. So I worked on it for about 4 hours, I guess, and got the let done and laid it out to feel proud for a moment that I had finished that. That was my goal for this evening, was to get the let down so that I could finish the rest of the words tomorrow. And I had measured my 3 inches to the L, not to the flowers. And so there was not enough room when I finished the let to add the flowers and have anything left over for framing. And so I spent, because it was 1 stitch at a time, I spent almost as long frogging my let out of my fabric as I did putting it in the first place. Kind of see where it was here. L-E-T. So I'm ready to start again. I am so emotionally wasted right now, as a lot of us are, that I'm not even frustrated about it. It was like, oh yeah, of course. So I'll do it again tomorrow. I'd already promised myself that tomorrow I don't have to do anything that I feel I have to do. I'm just going to play, and I've already decided that what I'm going to play with is the therapy of stitching this. The good news is that, like I said, when I pulled it all out, I had at least learned how much floss it was going to take to do these letters. And I'm using a color called Pine. It's a Gentle Art color. And I think, wait a minute, what did I do here? Is this it? No? Oh, Fiddlesticks. I'll have to find it again. My point was, I only had 1 skein of Pine, and when I saw how much floss it took to do the let, I was afraid that I wasn't going to be able to finish the letters with just 1 skein. So I went through, as I was cleaning up after frogging it, I was going through my flosses and pulling the ones I think I'm going to want to use. For the rest of the piece. Yeah, none of these are it. And found the other colors that I want to use in it. And found this really beautiful green in a 4.5 yard skein, and I might use it instead. But I also found a second skein of pine. So it's not a total waste. I at least know that either way, I might decide to switch to this one because this is a beautiful green anyway, but I'll have enough floss. So it is now midnight, and it is definitely time to go sleep off this day. And there were good things in the day to help erase some of the frustration and sadness from some of the other things, like learning that my family can't come for a visit this summer from Japan. That's a hard one, but it's the best decision for their safety, and with any luck they can reschedule their tickets. Their tickets were changeable, so with any luck we will be in a safe spot when they can change the tickets. So good night, and maybe I'll see you tomorrow. So yesterday didn't end up so well for this piece. I finished the let. I had to frog it all out because I hadn't measured correctly. But in the end, you know, I'm still looking for the good. First of all, I'm a process stitcher, not a product stitcher. And so I enjoyed doing it. And I'll enjoy redoing it and doing it correctly this time. And I also was able to use this time to go to my stash in the sunlight today, where the light's decent, and really pick out some colors for this. And decided to change my mind about the color I was using for the letters anyway. I'm going to go with this Threadworks color instead of the pine. And I think that that's going to be gorgeous. I think that little bit of variegation in the letters is really going to, I think I'm really going to be happy with that. And these are some of the other colors I've chosen. They're not, I think they're going to be brighter and more joyful for me to work with, honestly, than what seems to be reflected in the chart itself. And the chart itself is, I'm loving it. So that is my first focus on joy for today, is that everything is working out for the best, at least for this little piece. And here's another focus on joy for today. The berry stand is open. Las Posas Berries is open, and I am so excited. You want to know how big these are? Check this out. I haven't actually tasted one yet, but I will. I'm going to bag some up first for my son and his family, and for my mom and my family in another town, and then I'm going to enjoy these while I stitch. Another point of joy for today. Our caterpillar went from the J to a chrysalis. I can't really get a good picture of it. That's better. Monarch chrysalises are so beautiful. Can't really see the metallic markings yet because of the lighting, I think. Anyway, yeah, happy things. Some nasturtiums outside the window. Happy things. So in our little points of joy inventory, I had brought in some monarch butterfly eggs and a few days ago, and they're starting to hatch out. I don't know how close I can get with this. That's about it. Yeah, there's a little tiny monarch butterfly caterpillar there. It has eaten its way out of its egg, eaten its eggshell, and now it's going to start chomping.
So we hope that they do fine this year. We've got several challenges going on here around our monarchs, and I don't understand all of them. All I know is that I have to start bringing them in as eggs because, and even that might not help save them because the farmers have started releasing parasitizing insects that lay their eggs in the eggs now. It used to be they would lay their eggs in the caterpillars, so if we could get them in the house while they were still eggs, these are eggs here, they would survive, and now I'm finding that they would make it to maybe their second instar or earlier, and they just die. So not really sure what that's all about. Don't like it, but just keep doing my best, bringing in the eggs and keeping my fingers crossed. Very carefully counted again. Decided that this time I would put the flower in first and then make sure I have enough room over here. So I do. I have enough room for the rest of the flower and framing and everything. And then, so I worked in the first piece of the first strand of the flower, and then the first strand of the word. And as I was doing the first strand of the word, I realized the flower wasn't looking right. Didn't look like what was on the chart. And I had miscounted again. And I ended up having to frog most of the flower and rework that after I had done the beginning of the letter. So I guess it's just going to go this way. I'm too distracted by other things. I'm not able to focus on this the way I'd like to. And the good news is that I really like the process, the stitch-by-stitch process, and it's no hardship to do it again. I also will say that I am really kind of glad this happened because I ended up changing the green that I was using for the lettering, and I love this color. I'm much happier with the way it's turning out than I would have been if I had stuck with my original color. So because I had to mess with it last night, I ended up finding this big skein of Threadworks color, and I love it the way it's looking with the variegation. So I'm going to try to work some more in there, and before I have to do a couple of chores. I'm having a nice day, all in all. So, little point of joy, the Costco finally got their garden gloves set in, and I was able to get a package of 10. I really needed new garden gloves. And while I was putting the extras away, I found this pair of leather lined that my aunt had gotten me a couple of years ago, maybe longer than that. And I haven't used them yet, so I'm on my way out to the garden, get on top of some stuff there. So there is no bigger point of joy for me than in my garden. And I came out to work for an hour or so and apparently was out here for closer to 4. Totally lose track of time when I'm out here. And as a big point of joy, I was able to get this whole bed cleared out. I had a bucket of rocks. Got tired of my little red flags that are now pale pink, showing where the irrigation line is, so I decided just to spread some of those rocks. But the biggest points of joy, when I came out here, these are sages that I planted in the winter, and look, buds, they're getting ready to bloom. My red bud is looking great. I planted a couple of more milkweeds and another buckeye. I think that's what it's called. Let's see, buds there. All the sages. 3 of them getting ready to flower for me. And then I was able to clear some of the grass that was in here so that I could enjoy my Gerber daisies, clear the grass that was around here, and while I was doing so, realized that Barbra Streisand rose is also covered in buds. And it was this rose that inspired me to buy this piece. Stop and Smell the Roses. And I'll try to put their link down, the artist link down there also in the description. Barbra Streisand has the most delicious fragrance, and I would like to think that friends and neighbors would come in and take a moment to stop and smell that. My son got confused on the time. He did stop by to start working and then realized he was there on the wrong day and he was needed at home. So he'll show up. He's going to start digging out behind where those poppies are. Is a lot of cockleburs. There's more over there too. I need to get to those myself, but he's going to do some digging for me as well. Points of Joy. These are the begonia cuttings that I put down last year. They're taking over, and my Jean Daniels is getting ready to bloom. I knew Jean Daniels. He was a friend of mine, as was Roadie Ziesenhenne, who hybridized this plant. And so anytime that I am successful with Jean Daniels, it brings back really wonderful memories of a very special person in a very special group of people. More blooms coming out here. My little rose is hanging in there with me. Eunice Gray, putting on a lot more new growth. The Stephanotis may be recovering. I think I need to feed her for sure, but she is putting out new growth there, so maybe some prudent pruning maybe. Gayme is showing up again this year. My baby tears is always a thrill. They remind me of my granddaddy. And all right, much happier with round 2 with this. It is one of the hashtag Be Well and Stitch offerings. This one from the Blue Flower, and it says, Let Joy Be Uncontained. I got a start on it. It's a part of a different story. Had to start it over, and I'm really glad I did, and that's why I'm adding it as a point of joy. I was a little frustrated to have to start over, but in the undoing of it, the redoing of it, I changed the color of the letters, and I'm really happy with this. It's a Threadworks color. It only has a number. It doesn't have a name that I can see. But I love these over dyes, and of course doing one stitch at a time, you get this almost an ombre feel to it, which I really like. So I'm happy with it, and my goal now is, I think, to finish it before they let us out. And so I am going to keep working on this one until it's done.